Alright guys, so I'm sitting inside of a 2018 Honda Fit. This is the EX model. So I'm going to walk you through it and just kind of explain what everything is in the car to help you out. So I'm going to start you off on the left side. I've got my windows. They're all automatics, and I have an auto up down on my driver's side door. You'll notice my door locks are electronic along with my window locks, and I do have my mirror controls left and right and the pad to adjust. Down here you're going to see 3 buttons. The first one is road departure mitigation. You can turn it on and off, so if the green light's on, it's letting you know it's on. What that means is if you start to veer off the side of the road, what it'll do is it'll start to beep at you and give the steering wheel a shake to let you know, hey, wake up, pay attention, that sort of thing. The next one is collision mitigated braking. What that is this is always on unless you hold this for 3 to 4 seconds to turn it off. Now what this is going to do, let me zoom in a little bit more here, is it's going to be set up to where if it's looking like you're going to rear end a car or something like that, get in an accident, what it'll first do is flash and alert you to beep at you and be like, hey, pay attention. And then next it'll actually start braking the car, so that's what that system is. It's the same thing. It uses radar in the car to detect what's in front of it that it uses for my adaptive cruise control, and I'll explain what that is here in just a minute. Now this next button right here, this is vehicle stability assist. This works with your traction control, so in the event that you go into a skid and lose traction on one side, it'll transfer power to the other wheel to help correct that skid. The same thing, this is always on unless you press it for 3 to 4 seconds to hold it to turn it off. The only time you'd want to turn this off is if, let's say, you were stuck in the mud and wanted to spin your tires. Now right above that, you're going to see the Econ button. Whenever I turn the Econ button on, you're going to see this green leaf come on up there, so you can see it turn it on and off right there. Now how the Econ button works is it will improve the gas mileage of the car, but in doing so, it's a give and take system, so keep this in mind. It's going to do things like affect the AC unit, and it's going to affect the accelerator. Now, in shutting down some of the electrical systems and limiting some things, it is going to improve gas mileage, so just keep that in mind. It's a give and take system, and that's how it works. Moving up, it's got the famous cup holder. This hasn't changed in some years. It's had it for a long time. It's really cool. It's right by the vent, so if you have the heat on, it'll keep your coffee hot. If you got the AC on and it's in the summer, it'll keep your drink cold. It's kind of a cool little feature that the Fit's had for some years. Moving on to the steering wheel, I'll start you on the left side and we'll kind of work from there. So the first thing you're gonna see is your volume controls, the plus and minus right here. The arrows left and right, this will change between like your favorite stations. So if you've preset your stations, you can jump between tracks, that sort of thing. Or if you had an MP3 player going, or if you had music saved, or you're streaming music, you could jump to the next track also. Now the source button right here in the middle, that's gonna jump between FM, AM, USB, Bluetooth, satellite radio, whatever you got connected up and running, that's what's gonna jump between, so just keep that in mind. And then my top screen up here, this will toggle between audio and Bluetooth just to help me as far as quickly being able to jump between those things. The menu button down here, this is actually set up so if I'm in audio and I've got something pulled up, what it's going to do is allow me to get to some options. So if I press the menu button while I'm in audio, you'll see that it's going to pull up a few things when I press it. So scan, seek, save presets, things like that. And it's kind of a quick option off of there just to make life a little bit easier while I'm driving. My Bluetooth controls are down here. They're all triggers that I'm going to pull towards me. So to answer a phone call, to hang up a phone call or go back, and then as far as Bluetooth, or excuse me, as far as voice command, that's what that button is. So for call this person, that sort of thing. So that's what's going on there. All right, so moving across to the other side here, this is where you're going to find some of my Honda sensing features. So this is new to the 2018 Honda Fit, so keep that in mind. Excuse me. So to initially get them ready, I'll press the main button. When I do that, you're going to see ACC and LKS come on up there. So you can see them flashing on and off. That stands for Adaptive Cruise Control and Lane Keep Assist. So Lane Keep Assist is going to be this first button right here. When I toggle this on, you're going to see these dotted lines come on up there. So you can see them coming on and off. This works from 45 miles an hour to 90 miles an hour, and it doesn't work if you have your windshield wipers on. What it's going to do is it's going to use actually this camera that's in this box right up here, and it detects lines on the road. When those fill in solid, it means it's now reading the road. If you start to veer out of your lane, it'll just naturally pull the wheel a little bit to the left or the right. It's not jarring, it's not overpowering, it's something you could control and easily overtake if you wanted to. And if you put your blinker on, this isn't gonna matter anyway if you're veering out of your lane anyways. But that's what it is. It's just designed to keep you in your lane and help, that way you don't get in an accident. Now the next one is your adaptive cruise control. So once I get up to the speed I wanna set, I would press the set button. From there, I would then select the distance between me and the car in front of me using this button right here. When I do that, up here, you're gonna see the boxes getting smaller and smaller. That's the most distance I can create between me and the car in front of me, and then less and less and less and less, right? So that's how that works. So if I'm going 65 and the guy in front of me slows down to 55, my car is going to keep whatever designated amount of space I have created, and it's going to slow down my car. When I get around him, or if he speeds back up, my car is going to speed back up until it gets to my designated speed that I've set. So that's how adaptive cruise control works. And that's using radar, like I said, in the front of the grill to bounce it off of the car in front of you and come back to let you know exactly where they're at. So that's that same technology it's using for the collision mitigating braking system. Now this car does have paddle shifters, so you can see them right there. And that just allows you to, affect as far as changing ratios and things like that if you like a little bit more control of your car. This car does have auto on-off headlights, so to set them, you just set the auto to the hash right there. And then your fog lights are down here if you want to turn them on, and then if you want to turn them off. This car does have a blind spot camera on it, so anytime I hit the right blinker on, you're going to see this camera pop on. Now that red line is the end of your car. Red to orange is one car length, and then orange to orange is another car length, so if you can see that on there. So that's how that works. I don't have to turn my blinker on to turn that on. There is a button on the tip of the blinker stalk I can press. So if I press that button, it will turn that camera on. So if I was driving down the highway and I heard a motorcycle and I don't know where he went, I could just press that button and see and be like, oh, he's sitting in my blind spot, cool, without me having to look over my shoulder and away from the road. The plus to this is, yeah, exactly that. I don't have to look away from the road and then the guy in front of me hits his brakes and I end up rear-ending him. So that's how that works. So that's what's going on this side of the stock, and then the other side is going to be your controls for your windshield wiper blades. So the whole thing down will do my front windshield wiper blades if you saw them come on, and then this will affect the back right here, and then it's intermittent, so I can affect the speeds exactly how fast or slow I want it to go right there. So that's what's going on here. Moving over to the dash. So this audio touchscreen is going to be pretty common if you've looked at any other Hondas. I like the way they have it set up. It's pretty easy to use. They've added the volume knob to it this year to make life a little bit easier for people that want it. So that's what's going on with that. So audio-wise, let's look at all your options this car has. So I'm going to press the source button right here. So you've got FM, AM. The car comes with 90 days of satellite radio. You do have USBs that you can plug into. So you can see one right down there. So right here. This is also the same USB you'll use for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which I'll explain in a minute. You can plug pretty much anything with an i in it, iPad, doesn't matter. You do have Bluetooth, so you can wirelessly connect up Pandora, Spotify, any of those things you can run through Bluetooth too. You'll notice the car does not have a CD player, so just keep that in mind. We're all moving away from CD players, so that's kind of what the deal is. So let me jump back out of this and move down. The info button is just going to give you general tripometer information, so if I want to see what's going on there, I've also got it over here, and I can use these menu buttons down here, which I didn't go over yet, but it just allows me to toggle through some different screens depending on what I want to see. So if I want that same info, I have it available to me here and here on the large screen in case I want a little bit more view to see it. Honda Link will allow you to set up an account, and it's just a name and an email, and it'll give you recall notices, it'll give you maintenance reminders, things like that. So that's what it is right now. Moving into the future, it's going to give you some other things too, as far as locating your car. If you've parked it somewhere, it'll GPS locate it, and being able to eventually start it up off your phone. So that's kind of where this is headed, just so you know. Phone, this will allow me to get to all my Bluetooth controls as far as receiving and making phone calls, receiving texts and emails, things like that. So depending on what kind of phone you have, you'll have some different options as far as that goes. Some of my settings in the car are going to be right here. So you can see they're all right there. As far as connecting up a phone, if you need to add another phone or if you need to add a first phone, the way to do that, go to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. From there, you go to the Bluetooth device list. Oops, let me select it. And then from here, down at the bottom, add Bluetooth device. And then it's going to prompt you. And then you'll hit continue, and then from there it'll walk you through and start searching for your phone. So that's how that works. So pretty easy process as far as that goes. So smartphone connection, this is where Apple CarPlay and Android Auto comes into play. So if you don't know what those are, basically what it does is it allows you to plug in your phone into the USB, which is actually right down here, what I was mentioning earlier, and pull your phone's navigation up on the screen. So if you're using an Android-based phone, you'd be looking at Google or Waze as far as maps. If you're using an iPhone right now, all you have access to is Apple Maps. So you're going to have to wait a little while until they figure out Waze and some of the other features. But it'll give you access to navigation on this screen that you can touch, play with everything from here. So it's kind of nice. It really makes navigation paid for in a car kind of obsolete. It also gives you access to your music, your messages, Pandora, Spotify, a lot of those different programs right on the screen. So it's just a really cool program. If you have questions about it, feel free to ask me. I can shoot you a video and send it to you on it. Moving down, your AC controls are pretty self-explanatory in this car. Hot and cold, how much air and where you want it to go. So, I mean, anybody can figure that out. And then you've got, obviously, a 12-volt power outlet back there. My center console is a tiny one, so nothing big to that, but I do have another USB and another power outlet. Right now, I have the seats folded down in this car, so you can see what kind of space I'm working with back here, and it runs actually really flat. So I really like that. If you do need to throw something in, you've got a lot of space to do it in. This is an EX model. So it does come with a moonroof, which I'll flip it open here. Just so you can see, to open it, all you're gonna do is pull that trigger straight forward. And that's how that works. To close it, obviously, press it back forward. And then if you want to crack it, you press directly up on it and that'll crack it. And then to close it, again, just push forward. So pretty self-explanatory stuff. If a lot of people don't even mess with these things, but just in case. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, 512-443-4300, and ask for Justin. You can email me at jfuller@howdyhonda, that's the letter J, and then Fuller, F-U-L-L-E-R, @howdyhonda.com. Or you can just respond to the YouTube video and I'd be more than happy to help you out in anything. Thank you much.